Okay, I will start with full screen mode first. Thank you for attending today's webinar. Today's webinar topic is for the generate AI, especially large language model powered digital health, focused on balancing innovation and regulation. So we are going to discuss three big agenda. The first is to the state of the art in generative AI powered digital health innovation. And second, we are going to talk about regulatory landscape for Gen A powered digital health product. And then finally, we are going to discuss about the FDA total product lifecycle management regulatory framework. Okay, so the first part, we're going to touch on briefly about what the current state of the generative AI used in healthcare, especially for the digital health innovation. I'm going to talk about particularly within the scope of the FDA regulators oversight. And then I'm going to talk about what the current state of the regulatory landscape for generative AI powered digital health product. And then finally, I'm going to talk about total product lifecycle management regulatory framework. In appendix, I show this was my previous webinar topic. So in general, the including generative AI, the AI embedded medical device, FDA regulatory framework. So I just provide the very brief but comprehensive cover of this topic. Okay, so first, so I just divide by the three categories that are the reason that you will know in the next section about the FDA actually they categorize the the medical device that under their scrutiny by the medical device doing the medical device means that the device or other like artifact or the system can do some medical activities, especially the what they mean by the medical activities, usually diagnostics and treatment and the monitoring. So monitoring is related to prevention. So I just made three categories. If you are in the large language model or generative AI in general in healthcare, there are many kind of the application available, but I'm focused on the related to the FDA regulation. So in the diagnostics that usually they use in like a medical imaging, so relate to like for example in the like analysis of your CT or whatever from the image from your medical device that they provide more like accurate diagnostics. So it's usually in the medicine they call radiology part. And then if you look at the appendix, I provide what the current like listed the medical device AI and medical device in the FDA side, and then in FDA provide 950 the like FDA approved product, and then nearly 80% are related to radiology. So nearly the 80% of the that was related the medical imaging and medical diagnostics. So for example, the page is full focus platform utilize generative AI to like tissue samples in cancer diagnostics. So they can use in the prostate like breast cancers, a very complex cancer like diagnostics use. So they proven in the improved diagnosis. And also they can be like integrated with like from other database, not just wearables, sensor device data, and the electric health record data and the medical image, and then they're looking at the particularly some signs and patterns and disease and anomalies and risk that generating like a discrete finding to improve diagnostics. And the systems also like Siemens Healthineers AI-read companion is one of the like something related to like increasing accuracy and automating the diagnostic process. So this is some example that the current state of art in diagnostics. And second one is treatment. So usually the main like a use of the generative AI in the treatment is a personalized treatment option. So they relate precision medicine and tailor the treatment plans. So they usually provide a customized treatment. This presentation already shared in my LinkedIn. So I share the link. You can access it in my chat, but you can see the chat if you look at my LinkedIn, and then I will post it. So you can look at for details later. And then also like deep attention queue network is a not actual product, but actually there is like a research product. So it's specialized in personalized treatment recommendation is available. And usually their treatment is like personalized like the precision medicine stuff. So in oncology is a big topic in the precision medicine. So they provide the most effective and the treatment options. So after AI's multimodal AI, uh, this is one of the like Time magazines of this year's invention. And then they maybe reference they didn't specify they use generative AI, but that they use multimodal AI. The multimodal AI means different kind of the machine learning and deep learning. So maybe leverage generative AI to design customized treatment strategy. And prevention usually, so you can think about that why I like categorize by the diagnostic means in the digital health usually there is a digital diagnostic solutions available. And treatment usually you can think of digital like a treatment management like a digital therapeutics is one kind. And finally prevention is related to like you maybe heard about remote patient monitoring. So proactive patient care is possible. So proactive analytics and real-time monitoring is one. So all this detection of the risk and timely intervention is a key in here. So for example, cardiovascular case in implicit is one example that actually it is categorized as a generative AI enabled medical device. So the FDA clear and then cardiac implantable medical device used with that. So this is supporting the traditional like a medical device using this they usually as a part of the software the medical device and then Diagnomed EC analysis model is one of the one used generative AI to early warning of the neurodegenerative condition like Alzheimer's disease. And also like using the mental health care. So they provide like early detection using the biodigital markers. And then they can use for the all intervention uh, like the preventive way to like handling, managing your mental health care. Okay, so Buying say that uh you have a current state of there are like out there many different type of the like medical device that digital health solution that actually categorize as a medical device. So we are going to move into the next topic about the within the like government regulatory like a framework, how you define these medical devices. So this is one actually that I generate one. So I already posted in my video in my YouTube channel, so you can check that later. So it's a storytelling way to explain easily about what the current state of the like generate AI like power digital health solutions. Okay, so what's the regulatory landscape? So it's imperative for regulatory oversight of generative AI powered digital health product. So particularly for you see that this is a recent issue. So this is it's like August and September. and it's a very near, very close publications in Harvard Business Review that they focus on generative AI, and especially that this article about how to regulate generative AI in healthcare. And then their argument, actually, the one of the author, this that is Bekel Patel. Actually, he was a former director of the Center of Excellence in Digital Health in the FDA. And so he's one of the key member. He was a key member of the creating like a regulatory framework, the AI ML powered enable medical devices. And then he insists that he's now in Google, so in the private sector. And then, so traditionally, FDA regulatory process for new drug and device involves specific clinical trials to ensure safety and efficacy. So evolving application rather than fixed use makes the different situations. So in the generative AI model, they change continuously with the new data and computational advance and akin to medication with a constant shifting ingredient. So they insist like a new paradigm, new framework needed for this handling this new type of the medical device. So they provide us, they suggest very disruptive way to regulate this kind of the device. So they rather than just think about this as a machine or a device, they think about it like intelligence. It's like a human, so it's like a human practicing, right? It's a surgeon or whatever. They need to be keep changing their sort of career. So they provide some kind of like very dramatic change of the current FDA police. I'm not sure whether it is accepted or not, but it showed the example that the this kind of like a generative AI, the enable medical devices, a very requires some kind of different the framework that would the actually the happen in usually the FDA have a policy in the before. So by saying that, so I look at the FDA regulatory framework, the current status that they are not in the much dramatic. They actually they already have a AI ML the enabled medical device regulatory framework I provide in the appendix. So that's based on just adapt based on the characteristics generate AI compared to other traditional AI ML. So they actually founded their framework based on the existing one, and then they focus on that intended use risk-based classification is normal that before they have a policy is very similar, and the comprehensive evidence recovered across the total product life cycle, the TPLC. So so they define the generative AI-enabled medical device and regulatory scope as a use for diagnosis, cure, treatment, and prevention of the disease. So usually they categorize the three that non-device. Actually, the non-device means that the non-regulatory oversight under regulatory oversight product, right? Because they are nothing to do with FDA. So and then low risk. And there is there can be I think that this low risk generate device is under like a gray area because I've talked with a lot many innovators, many entrepreneurs to working in this space that they're very confused about that whether their product is under FDA scrutiny or not. So this is great. High risk, yeah, high risk type is very definitely the patient spec analysis, so direct treatment recommendation. So it's much easier to identify whether their current developing product is within the scope. But in the low risk generative devices, on the depending on the risk criteria is somewhat confusing in this space. And so they usually the FDA employs a risk-based approach, assessing intended use and technical features and the device ability to operate within a predictable boundary. So in the usually that because of this, like their traditional policy that Gen A, your holisticization, so means that they can provide some fault like answer that you maybe experienced many times, and then so as they have like some debate from the like a traditional way to handling this matter. So what they think about is to uh the defining intended use in a different way, like so the generative device intelligence is essential, like, but the problem is that the flexibility and adaptability means that unintended functionality can be generated. So they concern about how to regulate this case. And foundation model transparency. The foundation model means the large language model is mostly based on foundation model, like you maybe know about like the bot model is one of the one is attention, it's a decoder encoder, the structure, the this kind of stuff. But they're very like they're well known that their risk of bias and practical behavior. So they can affect consistent in output is complicating FDA evaluation. So this is another concern. And also, like they are continuously running evolution, like because they are not static. Because the generator, you have a new data set, and that they can be retrained, and that they continuously learning, adapting from real world data, right? Because this one example is ChatGPT, right? Because for example, I use ChatGPT every day, and then I use many times utilizing ChatGPT for the healthcare AI, something like analyze and then provide a lot of information. So the my ChatGPT is learning and adapting from my real world data. So they intended like use can change and their functionality can change. So do not provide like whether the ones approved at the time of approve is safer, but it's not guaranteed that will be more safe or whatever after they changes. So this is the whole thing that FDA framework is considered. And then so usually what they think about is a total product life cycle approach. So that means that the from the starting to the end, like over the product life cycle, they want to make sure that every like state is oversight by the FDA. So there is no but the clearly what will be the expected in every stage. So maintain safety efficacy through their life. So usually they divided by the pre-market, like even they are not even in the market. So in the pre-market evidence needs, they require some requirement even if you are not in the market. Through their like FDA like a regulatory pathway, they require pre-market evidence needs. So particularly quality of assessment, transparency, explainability is one thing that they consider. And then also like operating with a predictable and safe range is one, and they suggest like prompt engineering control over input and output. And the foundation model documentation, so how to actually transparency to keep this as a half address potential bias ensures device alignment with its intended use is one thing that through this TPS approach, they wanna like make sure that they can resolve this kind of issue and then provide like a maintain safety and efficacy through their life cycle. So and then after in the post market, so you launch it and then used by the end users, usually patient. So after that, actually, even with that, they want a real world performance evaluation. So even after the market, it's actually used by the patient. They want to access how the device perform across various clinical settings. And then they want to be like a feedback mechanism to find out that the whether like it's like something that they need to be changes and that they have a feedback loops updated to maintain consistency and safety. And then particularly they are very interesting the human in loop requirements. So the human expertise is in between. So require human oversight like particularly for the direct clinical recommendation kind of the device, they require this because like a human interaction. The requirement is they think about it. Okay, and then new methodology of effective size. So FDA now think about what would be the effective way to like regulate this one. So GenAI device may align with existing evaluation framework, other required innovation methods, dynamic testing evaluation, and enhanced experimental and transparent standard, and adaptive risk control, right? So here that why I say about the balancing like innovation and regulation because of if you think about you are the like innovator okay and then you think about that this kind of your requirement right and then whether they're overdue like for example you are very like even under like your development and the marketing and then commercialize it's a complex process require a huge effort and money right even with actually the to pass through this regulatory password is also required the large effort and time and money, right? So this is the one for example, I'm a lawyer, so I'm a 30 years in all the innovation space, but also so I was so educated, so I attended law school, so I also like have a legal knowledge, so. I know about the legal side and then business and technology side. And then I always think about what is the best way to balancing of the two sides because the government policy is a public way because they want to guarantee, right? But usually the basic policy should be like a minimum like interruption, right? Because a minimum regulation. So so it's a funny thing is because you may have heard that the uh Trump actually assigned the new department like government efficiency to Elon Musk, right? Yes, and he's businessman, right? And then I'm very curious about how we do oversight this kind of because he talk about he wanna remove all the like in like inefficiency in government operation and then on like make a democratized like regulation stuff, right? I think that this is one of the big topic, maybe whether he can handle it. Because the funny thing is that because he is one of the party actually. The other side you made about like, Mark Zuckerberg in the Facebook type guys, right? More democratic type guys, right? And then I'm very curious how what he have in the next year that the like the two type of the thinking about in the regulation and innovation, right? And then what it happened, I'm very curious about. I want to looking at what it happened. But this topic is one of the good like example that what it happened in the future. Okay, so this one I also created the very like storytelling way to explain the current framework. So I recommend to look at it. So you can look at it in my YouTube channel. Okay, so finally, total product lifecycle management regulatory framework. So this is one where this come like because a lot of people may be interested in where this come actually this is a come from that if you look at my appendix and that I provide the total product lifecycle management in the like a framework ISO. So ISO provide so software lifecycle management framework. So they provide a very standard way to developing your product and marketing your software products. So actually they use that framework and they changing based on their basic policies and framework. So this come from this ISO like a software development standard. And so for this specific topic, that this is I think that this is maybe next week. So next, when I remember, it's around the 20th. So they want to have like FDA Holdings Digital Health Advisory Committee meeting, and then they want to hear from industry and other like stakeholders that they. So all I talk about today is based on this article, this document. So here is the one. So they want a hearing into November 20th. So if you go to this site and then you can look at it. They provide like a online channel to look at it. So they want to have a hearing from what they think about it from the industry feedback. Usually the government is hearing they want to people like setting as like a law. Actually that they want to like hear and then like a feedback from the like stakeholders, and then they want to finalize, and then once finalized within maybe few months window, and then we will set it down into like the law, and then you need to be the like obey this regulation stuff. So this is a good opportunity to think about you are in the innovation side. And then the first thing is that understand that what their intent, and then your innovation, and then whether there is some balancing between your effort to innovate and then what the government try to regulate, right? So I think that based on my like a presentation material, I think that this all summarize everything in here. So it's a good time to you can look at it and you can give me your opinion or comment. Okay, so what they talk about is the TPR's approach is several steps like a planning, design, so define goals. This is a very specific about how to manage years in the like the development in the post market and the aftermarket. So data collection, management, model building, tuning, and verification, validation, and also model deployment operation monitoring. So this is one thing that you can look at it. So why it is important? So this is a guiding the manufacturers in best practice for issue lifecycle pace. So this is a recommendation, but if you want to be comply with like the current generative AI-enabled medical device, and then you should be very like competency about what they require and each state what you needed to do, right? So especially that cross-functional consideration also require like risk management and cybersecurity matter is one of the one. So so this is one actually that I prepared today. So this process is very complicated, but actually I also made a very like a storytelling way that you can look at it. So maybe good time to see what included in my video.
FDA Total Product Life Cycle, TPLC, considerations for generative AI-enabled medical devices. The FDA's Total Product Life Cycle, TPLC, approach for managing AI-enabled medical devices, especially those using generative AI, GenAI, builds on the traditional life cycle management, LCM, framework. The LCM has long been a structured process for software management, but with Gen AI-enabled medical devices, it incorporates additional considerations due to the adaptive and data-dependent nature of these technologies. Each phase of the TPLC requires specific focus to maintain compliance, effectiveness, and patient safety throughout the device's lifespan. Key phases in the AI lifecycle management approach: planning and design. This initial phase defines the goals, scope, and requirements for the AI project, including the architecture and algorithms. It's crucial to establish ethical guidelines and fairness criteria, especially for AI applications in healthcare, to ensure the technology aligns with clinical and user expectations. Data collection and management. Collecting and organizing quality data is fundamental for AI training and validation. For Gen AI, this phase includes ensuring data privacy and relevance while addressing potential biases. Data governance is essential, as well as establishing infrastructure for data storage and traceability. Model building and tuning. During this phase, developers select algorithms, engineer features, and refine the model through performance optimization. For Gen AI, robust model explainability and interpretability are critical, allowing users to understand and trust the model's outputs. Iterative testing is necessary to ensure the model is both accurate and generalizable across varied use cases. Verification and validation. This step assesses the model's accuracy and reliability, confirming it meets established standards. It involves testing the AI's performance against real-world requirements, particularly focusing on robustness and error analysis. Verification is key to ensuring the model functions as intended without unintended consequences. Model deployment, integrating the trained AI model into its intended environment makes it available for real-world application. This phase emphasizes scalability, reliability, and regulatory compliance, ensuring that the model can handle production demands while meeting safety standards. Operation and monitoring. Post-deployment, AI-enabled medical devices must be closely monitored for performance and operational integrity. Real-time monitoring, incident response, and ongoing model drift detection are vital for maintaining stability and efficacy. Maintenance tasks, such as bug fixing and security updates, are also integral, ensuring the model remains effective and safe over time. Real-world performance evaluation. This final phase assesses the device's performance under real-world conditions. Key metrics like accuracy, efficiency, robustness, and user satisfaction are evaluated to ensure the AI continues to meet its intended purpose. This ongoing evaluation allows for proactive improvements and supports safe, effective operation in clinical settings. Importance of AI lifecycle for Gen AI-enabled medical devices. The AI lifecycle provides a framework for managing the unique challenges of Gen AI-enabled devices, guiding manufacturers in best practices for each lifecycle phase. With Gen AI's capacity to evolve and generate new content, robust monitoring and evaluation are essential for post-market safety and compliance. The framework emphasizes not only technical performance but also broader considerations like ethics, privacy, and fairness, ensuring AI models contribute positively to healthcare. Cross-functional considerations. In addition to these phases, cross-functional elements like risk management and cybersecurity are woven throughout the AI lifecycle to address security, ethical use, and operational challenges. With Gen AI-enabled devices, specific considerations for data handling, transparency, and model adaptability must be prioritized to safeguard patient trust and regulatory compliance. By following a structured TPLC approach, developers, regulators, and healthcare providers can manage Gen AI-enabled medical devices responsibly, ensuring they remain reliable, compliant, and effective throughout their life cycle. This framework also highlights areas where new techniques or standards may be required, particularly in the continuous evaluation and improvement phases, to meet the evolving needs of AI in healthcare.
Okay. So, I wanted to discuss more to invite the industry expert, and so I planning in another like a discussion webinar on December 5th to think about the more like extended cover, like current regulatory framework and challenges in compliance and ethical consideration and future directions. So I will let you know that I'm trying to invite some speakers for this. And another topic that I'm interested in that recently there is another like FDA the oversight product rate is for they call prescription drug use rate software. So I'm going to talk about some of the regulatory from framework, and they also relate to they can utilize in generative AI. So particularly I'm going to introduce my patented the framework to how to develop PDURS. This has solutions very easy way. And also I'm going to talk about the healthcare AI agent, particularly this AI agent is powered by generative AI. So this is a new framework to developing your digital health solution based on generative AI. So they are on the FDA oversight. So this was one I'm going to talk about later. So in the appendix, I recommend that you look at this one, and then it talk about not just generate AI, that I provide all the information about the AI medical device. So it is you can look at my recording in the previous webinar. So what is mean by the software medical device, and then example, and then like types and categories, and then the what is mean by the total product life cycle management for this one. So provide some information and what the current listed product landscape, and then some important like something the analysis, and then this is ISO type, the TPLC management. So I provide this one. So I just hope you can look at it. Okay. So I done everything that I prepared. So we have a lot of time to discuss our comments. So first thing actually, why I'm doing this, because many people I'm doing this one every week, and then it depending on the like at the time of the what the hot issue in and particularly in the digital health and other topic like digital therapeutics, whatever, right? Because I'm interested in that my contribution. Because recently I published a book chapter of the DTX innovation, and I'm preparing another book for the DTX. And then recently I filed a patent for the DTX innovation platform. So I'm very interested into like in the digital health as a mainstream healthcare. So I just have some task, what the challenge, currently challenge of the digital health to be as a mainstream healthcare. And then I'm look at the whole scope. So that's why I invite many speakers, and also like I research myself to cover nearly all aspects of digital health, from the like diagnostic, DTX, remote patient monitoring, telehealth, home care, virtual care, clinical trial, and drug discovery. And then from this one, I'm targeting some specific area that can be require some new way, innovative way to develop some healthcare digital health solutions. So particularly for the GTX is early stage, and particularly interesting in that to simplify the innovation process of the DTX. I'm interested in that how to actually they can be included in the traditional workflow, right? In the prescription like workflow. And so adoption, and then how to utilize in real time like the evidence. And also I'm interested in to like based on your like a very simple idea, whether you can test your idea, and then you provide like guidance, what kind of details can you can develop like based on your idea, and then whether they provide some blueprint about how you actually can they implement the product to provide a very simple tool to you can test your idea, proof of concept, and they provide a blueprint about how you can innovate in a very simple way. And another thing is I'm interested in PDURS, like a type, and then they are like in companion with like a prescription drug with the TTX or RPM or the digital diagnostics, the companion, they can boost like your like a treatment effectiveness. So that's one I'm thinking about the way to innovate very simply. So I'm listening actually the develop some platform. Another thing that I'm interested in is to how to actually just to make easier for the innovator to regulatory pathway. Because as a lawyer, so I can maybe better position to understand like a government document, regulatory document, or something like that. And I want to think about the first. I try to understand what the current state of the FDA regulatory like a landscape. So I look at all the scope rate related digital health product, particularly the diagnostics and treatment and the monitoring space. And then I look at their regulatory pathway, and then I've also talked with many other startup like innovators, and then what their like a pain point through the like a regulatory pathway. And one thing that I was very interesting is there is a conflict between somewhere in the gray. What I mean the conflict means that because I posted some digital digital like a therapeutic product, for example, that I just analyze like global like a DTX company, and then I just get the information and I analyze every like their details about the company's like profile, their like product and their innovation patent. And then I'm patent attorney, so I'm looking at patent, and then also like their like fundraising, everything, their like key executive or something like that, the clinical trials and then FDA clearance or the like other like global like regulatory stuff like a HIPAA or other like for example reimbursement stuff. And then for example, DTX, I list about the 200 as like I provide as I'm going to publish soon about the like global DTX startups, the yellow. And then I posted, and then someone complained that some company, for example, some company, the mental is one of the like the innovator complained that why you post this company? They are not in under like a very like a strict way. They are not this therapeutic company because they are usually like a well-being product or something like that. They never been the like FDA clearance or they never been in the like clinical trial or something like that, right? And then so the reason is that one way is that some companies actually tended to be deliberately choose the pathway that they wanna do like FDA clearance, right? Because you see the FDA clearance, there is a gray area that actually that whether because they can oversight all the product out there, that whether for example, I never seen that. For example, I was in other industry, for example, finance. Like for example, recently that Trump announced like they are very for like a cryptocurrency, like in the cryptocurrency, like FTC, they are regulated FTC. FTC is a very strong regulator, right? And then they seek over someone actually violate, right? So they have a like, for example, they think about the cryptocurrencies. Usually, they should be listed at under like FTC, like a security law. They call security. You can stack as one of them. And then usually that under security law, they require unless you are the some of the exempt cases, you should be under scrutiny, right? It should be passed through like IPO, right? Because under IPO, there is a very like heavy burden to like prove the government proof of you can be listed in the stock market, right? So they are very heavily thick over. But I never think I'm not much in healthcare area. I was 30 years in or tech area and recently, and I focused on in the healthcare and based on my 30 years experience. But my understanding is I never seen that actually the FDA is maybe some like a drug, right? For example, traditional drugs. I know that there is some like a side effect or something that is a violate their approval, they may be sick over. But for the diesel product, I never seen that they have like actually like a sick over when some diesel product actually violate like what we talk about FDA clearance or FDA or like a framework, right? So there is a gray area is there, and then it's usually it is volunteer, right? Because usually the current status, what I'm understanding is in the like a digital therapeutics, like a digital healthcare regulatory framework is very like flexible, and then gray area exists, and then it depending on the each company's like strategy, right? So some company actually the deliberately they don't want to like pass through like the kind of like a FDA clearance required because it require huge money. Even if the FDA clearance approved, right? No guarantee in the market success, right? Because some company actually they choose that tended to be that way. Another company actually they want to pass through it because they believe that under this pass through actually they guarantee that it'll be like approval and so that actually the recognition from the like healthcare industry and that's where actually that they may be kind of like some success, right? But it depending on, right? So my intention is that because I educated as a lawyer and also like have 30 years, I have also I'm an inventor. I'm doing a lot of innovation work. I develop a lot of the like a product. So as an innovator and the lawyer that I want to make something that my contribution that understand this space. that whether better way to actually have industry people to understand this regulatory framework and then to make them easier to pass through this one and then have them turn in this trusted way. So this is another topic, not only the simplify and adoption of the digital health products. I developed several platforms to develop and easily adopting. And then I'm very interested into make some digital tools that to have the innovator to through this kind of regulated complex regulated framework. That's my proposal doing this discussion, and I'm doing my own. So I invite the speakers to share their insight. Okay, so there was some question that I've looked at. What was the question? Okay. Yeah, his question is very interesting, right? Because patient spectral analysis and administration support can sometimes feel quite blurry. How does FDA look at information gathering from patients through the GenA? Yeah, not just the GenA, right? Because for example, that I'm very different inside about the DTX, and the DTX usually they require gathering patient data because they have a for example, I developed a platform, look at all the like DTX product innovation pattern. And then one of the typical function and feature of the DTX, every DTX is that they're starting from the like current status of the patient information, like what the current status and then they're looking at the like other information through the like EHRs and the mobile device, whatever. And then based on the data, actually, and then the patient try to apply some like a DTX app, and then they monitor what the progress, and then actually that means that they require to gather the patient information, and then there is another way is actually they improve their for example the ones for the mental health that you have some kind of some treatment some therapeutic method, for example you choose a mindfulness or whatever, and then I found that actually that they applied it, and then based on the one of the some 1 week of the trial, and they found the accumulated data and analyzed by the ML and other AI. And then they found that the better way to optimize your therapeutic planning or whatever, and then they're changing the different way, the therapeutic methods and so on. So they also require the pattern, and then the data and the patient data actually they utilize to the ML and to analyze the insight about that kind of thing. So yeah, that's already required, but I'm not sure that if they look at this one side, look at information gathering from like a patients or GenA that reviewed by the medical profession, right? But what I understand is that uh, in the one of the regulatory framework, they call like a good ML practice is required because if you look at I showed that there was a 950 the listed product in FDA. Then if you look at the details, so if you go there and then they have a some document, and then you can look at it. There is one whether this product is to be comply with a good ML practice, right? So I think that that's the actually the point at whether this good ML like a practice means that maybe include gathering data and utilizing by this ML. So it's kind of like a one way actually the FDA can monitor whether they approve the product is use intended usually this the ML keep compliance with the how to actually treat the patient data. So but because I'm not sure in detail about it. Yeah. And oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, because Mona asked about what you think about EHS that using GenA for patient intake. Okay. Yeah, this is a very interesting topic. Okay, so I want to mention my business partner. Is Because this topic actually we talked about maybe a few weeks ago with my business partner because well we talk about the actually the he was a former like executive vice president of the big like the EHR company manufacturer. And then so we just discuss about something, and then I talk about I'm going to talk about something like a regulated matter, and then AI matter. And then also like we develop some product, and then we are going to have an AI, and then we are going to gather data, patient data, and then provide the insight, and then we talk about whether that our AI is under FDA scrutiny or not. And then this device actually they could be inside of the EHR system, right? Because this AI can be EHR system and gather patient data and provide the insight, right? And then there is AI function is inside the EHR. So we discuss about whether that this AI is kind of as defined FDA create FDA like AI ML enabled like a device medical device or not, right? So it depending on like how you actually make a criteria. So I mentioned that okay, so if that AI is purely only on the like operation of the EHL like a regular function means that the EHR gather data and then provide the database. Also, like for example, in the like the clinical workflow, they also provide some formulary for the like drug, prescribed drug, and other treatment. And then they provide information, and they include the e-subscription, and they provide to the like insurance company or something like that. So inside they need to operating their like EHR system, right? Then I mentioned that if they're purely they're operational, right? That they don't require it. They usually define as AI in the device, not AI as a device. So they don't require that. But if the device is doing something that independent of the EHR system, so means that this AI is inside in the EHR, but even if it's inside, their function is nothing to do with EHR operation, but what they're doing is just some related to medical activities, right? Because for example, that uh to to like get our patient data and then provide like for example like a treatment like a planning or something like the related to medical thing. And then your question is a patient intake. So oh well yeah, that's one the patient intake is if you think about is like medical activities, yeah, then required. But if not, yeah, I'm not sure it's a medical. The patient intake, what you look at as a video, like if you're the clinician or the healthcare professional, in your eyes that the patient intake is one of the medical activities or not, it depending on right. That may be the criteria. Okay, so. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yes, yeah. So EHR system, this is kind of like, for example, that the AI can mental health clinician, right? With assessment, diagnosis, treatment, suggestion, right? Even if then within the even if in the EHR system, but they are nothing to do with the EHR operation. Actually, they're inside the EHR, but their function is a medical function, right? Because yeah, definitely they are the under FDA defined like AI ML enabled medical device. Usually they are software medical device. So I think that in that case they're under FDA scrutiny. Okay. Is there any comment or the other question to share experience or whatever, or anything you suggest something that I'm particularly that I'm still working on that whether I can do something because the one thing that just to let me know that my idea is that so usually I cannot take care of the every regulated stuff, but well, for example, very simple one is 5 to 10K. There's a 5 to 10K pathway, then you compare with like a similar product. So, so, um, so I think that that is the one criteria you can look at it. So for example, that you have some product, and then maybe I provided some like the like a basic like product criteria that I will look at such the FDA the side about all the information about the 510K product already approved, and then and then and then train the generative AI, and then you provide your like a developing product characteristic, and then they provide like the whole the process of like how you actually get through the like your private 10K automatically. I'm still not in the very complete idea about what can I contribute, but I'm just thinking about this one, right? Because how to have that in the regulatory pathway to simplify and then make innovation is much better way. So just let me know if you have a better idea, then I want to collaborate with you. Any other question? Okay, so I will share this recording, and then I already share my presentation, and I hope to see you in my next webinar. And then if you want to be speaker in my next webinar, just to please let me know. Okay. Okay, so thank you for attending today's webinar, and then I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you. Bye bye.